if you were the first rookie quarterback to take a team to the Super Bowl?
Man, I'm not even thinking that far. You know, it will obviously be a blessing, but I'm just focused on how can I be better day by day.
Jayden Daniels will make history as the first rookie quarterback to lead his team to the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying he gonna win. I'm not saying Jayden Daniels gonna win, but I will say I think Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders are capable of beating this Philadelphia Eagles team. And the only reason why I say this, right? You gotta think about it. The Commanders, right? The Commanders has knocked off the considerably arguably the best team in the NFL, and that was the Detroit Lions last week in the divisional. They not only did they beat the Detroit Lions, they didn't win by 3, they didn't win by 5, they didn't win by touch. They won by 2 touchdowns. They blew out the number one team in the NFL with Jared Goff, Amon St. Brown, Jameer Gibbs. Like they beat the number one team in the NFL at their own field. They beat Detroit in Detroit, a Washington Commanders team that was probably the weakest team compared to everybody else before all of this went down. When the playoff picture was included, for the first time, Commanders was probably the weakest team out of all those teams in the playoffs this year. Right? Am I right or am I wrong? So the fact that Commanders beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Tampa Bay, won by 3 by a shank field goal. They won the game regardless. Whether you want to, whether you believe it was a fluke win or not, they beat them. So that's all that matters. Second round, divisional round, they go over to Ford Field where they got all Detroit Lions got all the momentum in the world. They beat the Vikings the last game of the season. To be the number one team in the NFC. So the fact that the Commanders went to Ford Field, put the really tore them boys up. The fact that they really tore them boys up and Jayden Daniels really handled that pressure so well as a rookie quarterback and to win by 2 touchdowns, that says a lot about Jayden Daniels and that says a lot about Dan Quinn and that says a lot about the Washington Commanders and they spirits and they determination. They don't care who you are. They don't care if you're the number one team. They don't care if you the second best team. And if they don't care about none of that, at the end of the day, all they care about is being the best versions of themselves. And you seeing it right now. Now, Jayden Daniels, like I said, Jayden Daniels, if he beats the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow night, well, tomorrow afternoon, he will be the first quarterback. He will be the first rookie quarterback to take his team to the Super Bowl. And it's never been done before. Dan Marino almost did it, but that was his second year. Now, Jayden Daniels, I really do. I really like Jayden Daniels. He was the former number 2 pick overall in the draft. The Commanders, they really did a great job of just rebuilding. Like they've been rebuilding for a minute. Like they haven't seen great runs since like Kirk Cousins days. Like it's been that long since RG3 days. The fact that Jayden Daniels is really doing this so young, he just got drafted 8 months ago, right? He just got drafted, 3,500 passing yards, 20 plus touchdowns, and the fact that he's doing this at a high ceiling that we did not expect from him, especially as a rookie quarterback. We don't expect rookie quarterbacks to really come out and just have the year that he did. He's like Jayden Daniels has become part among 12 other rookie quarterbacks in the NFL who made the playoffs and won a playoff game their rookie year. He's among greats like Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson. Joe Flacco did it when he was a rookie. So there's not too many quarterbacks. There weren't too many rookie quarterbacks that led their team to the playoffs and won an actual playoff game. And the fact that Jayden Daniels has a chance to take his team to the Super Bowl, that says a lot, man. But like I said, the Commanders, I feel like they've been in rebuild mode for years and years. And they haven't made the playoffs since 2020, I think. And they haven't won a playoff game. This is the crazy stat right here. The Washington Commanders, before Jayden Daniels, the Washington Commanders haven't won a playoff game since 2005. We are in 2025. The Washington Commanders haven't had a playoff win since 2005. In 20 years. That's a long time. And the fact that Jayden Daniels can come into this NFL, can come into the league with the best of them. These defensive linemen are faster than ever. These linebackers are running 4.4s, sub 4.5s. Like, to the fact that Jayden Daniels can come into the NFL as a rookie quarterback and knock off the number one, team, Detroit Lions, to knock them off, that provided them so much confidence. That provided them being the Detroit Lions provided them so much confidence, and that will run high into this game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, a lot of people are still right. The fact that Jayden Daniels and the Commanders did all of that playoff success so far, they're still getting doubted, which I don't understand, because if the main challenge for the Commanders versus the Eagles, the main challenge for the Commanders is shutting down Saquon. You shut down Saquon Barkley, the Philadelphia Eagles have no offense. Well, I'm not gonna say no offense, but I feel like Saquon Barkley is well evident that Saquon Barkley is a major key factor in these Philadelphia Eagles games. Like, their wins were produced off of Saquon Barkley running the football. Like, Jalen Hurts, to me personally, Jalen Hurts haven't been Jalen Hurts as we all knew this whole season. I feel like Jalen Hurts, I don't know what's been going on. I know he suffered a concussion about a couple weeks ago before the playoffs started, and they're saying that he might have injured himself again during practices or in that last divisional game. I don't know if that's true or not, but it still doesn't defeat the fact that I feel like Jalen Hurts just can't get it done. If we know Jayden Daniels and the Commanders, they like to throw the ball down the field. So if the Commanders start producing touchdowns, that forces Jalen Hurts to throw the ball more. And we all know the Eagles have been reliant. They've been relying on Saquon Barkley throughout the whole regular season. Forget the playoffs. The Eagles been relying on Saquon running the ball down these defensive teams' throats. And if you can just limit Saquon, you're not going to shut Saquon Barkley down, but if you can limit Saquon, and if they can force Jalen Hurts to throw the ball more, I feel like that will lean in towards the Commanders' advantage. Honestly, because Jalen Hurts is not throwing the ball well. Any passes thrown 25 plus yards or more, Jalen Hurts is not. He's not accurate. He's less. I think he's less 30%. 30% of his passes. No. Balls that are traveling 25 plus yards or more, he's like less than 30% efficient at that. So a lot of his plays are him using his feet. A lot of his plays that he does throw the ball, they're little dinks, across the middle, and his receivers are taking it to a big game. But other than that, I feel like if Jayden Daniels and his offense can really produce points and they can force Philly to actually use and throw the ball, I think Commanders have a real good chance of winning this game. And I do feel like Jayden Daniels can pull it off. He's real good with his feet. He can throw the ball. The only thing he has to do, and he did a real good job last week against the Detroit Lions, he didn't have any turnovers. You have Jared Goff as a veteran who's seen the playoffs, who's seen a Super Bowl before. Jared Goff threw 3-4 interceptions in one game. And of course, you're not going to win no game when your quarterback is throwing 3 interceptions, 4 interceptions. Turnovers really matter in the playoffs. So if Jayden Daniels can have the same game that he had last week against the Lions, I don't see Jayden Daniels losing this game. I don't see Commanders losing this game. Like I said, the only thing they will have to do is limit Saquon Barkley. You limit Saquon Barkley, the game is over with. Jalen Hurts will be forced to throw the ball. And again, he's still dealing with this concussion. So I'm not going to say, I'm not going to prey on another man's injury, but I will say it does help the Commanders that Jalen Hurts has been dealing with a concussion and dealing with injuries. So y'all let me know in the comments, man, what y'all think? Do you think Jayden Daniels can pull this off? Can he beat the Philadelphia Eagles and in Philadelphia Can he pull it off? And can he be the first rookie quarterback to lead his team to the Super Bowl? But y'all let me know in the comments, man. Thank y'all for watching another episode of the SO Show. And I'm out.